I'm going to introduce the members of the Crabinet. All right, introducing Lady Vescicula. Lady Vescicula has fought a pufferfish multiple times. There is video evidence of it. So, this is your local council member. And next in our council is Dr. Viola. Dr. Viola has a doctorate in political science. This is your next cabinet member. And then Mr. Crabinet, who may or may not live in the city. And that is how you get involved in local politics. And last but not least, Mr. Enger, who is often not at council meetings because he is getting his surfing championship. So, it is very important that you get involved in local politics. Welcome to the Crabinet Meeting! Beautiful. Thank you all for coming to your Crabinet Meeting here today, members of the council. I appreciate you coming out. We have a lot of things on the agenda today. First and foremost is I am going to be giving everybody some information that you should not be sharing with your fellow council members. So this one is for you. And, well, I unfortunately have only one. I have a claw situation. I did leave a claw at home, I think. So that's where we ended up. I think it left it in the claw. Don't worry about it. Okay, that's okay. It's all good. I am prepared for this meeting as the mayor, because all I have to do is show up and look good. That is not a commentary on mayorism. Please don't come for me. Okay, so everybody has their secret information if you all want to take a look at it without revealing it to your fellow council members. This is going to be very important for you. So, now that we have this very important information, I am going to give our presenter for this round, I'm going to give you 1 minute to look that over and look at it in relation to your policy, and then we'll have a proposal for it. So we're gonna start the timer on that minute there, and I'm gonna walk in front of the podium and say that it is important to vote in every election. This is not how the whole thing is going to go. I can't do actual politics, but I am going to do crowd politics. In the city here, we've had some interesting run-ins with the humans, and I believe that there are some of our Crabinet members who may have some opinions on that. There are policies that we need to introduce in today's agenda. Are you ready? Or do you need another? You've got 27 seconds.
As ready as I will ever be, Mayor. Thank you so much.
Okay, so let's get back to this. So you have 1 minute to give your policy proposal. If you want to cede your time before that, you may say so. And make sure you are as clear and concise in what your policy is being proposed for. Does that sound good? All right, excellent. And your time starts now.
Members of the council, please take out your pencil and make note of the thing I would like you most to take note. I move for the town, I'm not messing around, to move to Antarctica and lend me some art, and I'll make sure this move is so fun and new. Thank you, I see my time.
Time is complete. Beautiful. All right, thank you so much for your policy proposal. Now, I ask the members of the council to follow up with questions you have about this proposal. Yes, please.
I have a question. Sure. What the hell are you voting on? What?
To move to Antarctica, take the city, our lovely, lovely city, to Antarctica. It's we've been experiencing much too too many pollutions and the humans. Our waters aren't safe anymore. I know we have the technology, but in Antarctica we'll be able to swim freely, and the waters are so much purer there. We have the technology to stay warm, don't worry about it. Yes, but that is the motion. For us to move the whole town, our lovely town, our city, to Antarctica.
Yeah, I got a question. Can we all good? All right, yeah, great. So what of us, a lot of us don't like being cold. And I'm gonna be honest, it sounds pretty freaking cold up there. My question is, if we go up there, how are we gonna keep having our fun summer sports? And also, we're gonna be pretty far away from humans, aren't we? How are we gonna deal with that? We kind of need them. We rely on them a little bit. They drop extra food in the water. It's kind of one of our best sources of, hot dogs, things of the like.
I don't know if that's really a valid reason. Thank you. And in terms of surfing, I don't see why we can't use the falling of icebergs, the waves from the icebergs to surf and everything. And as I stated before, we have technology. Sir, I wasn't finished. We have a base seasoning for that steam. We are capable of staying warm. We have the technologies. I know from the council member sitting right next to me. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I do have a question as well. Just curious. The fact that you want to go to Antarctica, and that's fantastic. Antarctica is great, except for the fact that, the sand, we're going to miss the sand. And then also, while we're gone with the sand, I mean, can we talk about for a fact, what if the humans come to Antarctica and other places? What are we going to do then? And we already know that the pollution goes everywhere. The oceans are all kind of interconnected a bit. So how are we going to avoid the pollution up there? And not to mention, we have established everything here. Plus, our other council members have brought up fantastic points as well on this. Plus, I really don't want to be cold either. I tend to want to stay a little bit warmer, right? We all like being a little bit warmer.
Sure. I understand your hesitancy, but what is sand if not just millions of particles of broken up rock? And can we not find that up in the northern shores? Let's
Point of order. Antarctica's in the south.
That seems pretty important.
I have another question for you. Penguins.
What's the...
Penguins.
Sure.
They eat crabs.
Yes.
Penguins are in Antarctica.
Do we not also have predators with us everywhere already?
Yes, but penguins have no sense of humor. So I think that your proposal here is not going to work out. As far as I'm concerned, I detect bias.
Detect bias against whom?
Against anybody who does not like penguins, which would be me.
Anyone who doesn't like penguins?
I have nothing further to say.
Well, that's very clear. Just crawl back into your shell. Go.
I just have something to say. I don't like seals. And seals tend to be where the penguins are, so the penguins are going to be there, then the seals are going to be there, and I would not want to be there. I don't like seals.
I don't know when this council turned into a meeting about what we do and don't like. This is about the safety of our town.
I do tend to agree with you. Lady Vesky, I have one question regarding your policy. How do you intend to enforce this or enact this policy?
Sure. Well, we'll all grab our belongings. We'll set probably a date, I would say probably 5 years from now. I feel like that's long enough for us to gather our belongings, make sure our shells are in order for the long, arduous journey. But given that 5 years, I feel like we can prep for it and we can find extra technologies to make sure that we stay warm and that we can avoid seals and penguins.
Point of order. The lifespan of most species of crabs is less than 3 years. Just saying.
Then I believe it would solve your problems then for this move. You wouldn't have to. But we will ensure the safety and the ecological preservations of our town, our species, for the generations to come. Is that not maybe most important? We have to think beyond ourselves.
Now, does any other council member have any follow-up questions before I turn to the city? No? Does the city have any follow-up questions? I will allow one city member to have a follow-up question. You can stand up to the microphone if you feel that you have a question you would like to ask the council regarding this particular policy of moving to Antarctica. Oh, I see. All right.
Are you taking all of the buildings?
It's a very good question.
This is a good question. I feel like we don't need the buildings. Is there one in particular that you would like to see come with us?
This one that we're in.
This one that we're in, so theaters, essentially. Yes, and I do recognize that they are vital, absolutely vital to life itself and making it worthwhile. I don't know if it would be quite possible, but I can speak with a surety that we will ensure that there are theaters in our new city in Antarctica.
Made out of what?
Well, sea anemones might be able to provide us some sorts of things, and coral as well. We could bring coral with us. That's much more feasible. Taking one piece of coral and have it regenerate and reproduce asexually as they do, and
another point of order. This is important.
You're always out surfing. What would you know?
If there's one thing I know, it's how the tropics work, man. And you're talking about bringing coral to Antarctica. You are talking about starting a reef for a new city in Antarctica.
Yes! We have...
If you're going to start understanding safety, you're going to start needing to understand how coral works first. I got an offer for you. All right?
Let's hear it.
You're talking about moving our cities around.
Yes.
You're talking about leaving everything behind, all of our buildings and everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
I got another policy.
Sure.
I think I have a solution that allows us to move our buildings, allows us to move everybody while keeping us all more safe. It's better than your policy. And if you stop it right now, we shut this down, I can slip you a 20 after this. Yeah, like easy. Just like a real quick, okay, wait. 20 sand dollars.
Is this a joke to you? Is that what this council is?
I'm sorry.
Bribery?
All right. This council is getting out of order. Let's let another city member ask one question before we continue on with this aggressiveness. Go on.
Sorry, a little bit of a two-part. Who's going to pay for this, and how are they going to pay for this? Like, how expensive is this going to be to the community as a whole?
That's a very good question. Luckily for us, I would say that we're looking at nominal costs for everyday citizens. Really, I would say that the crabs responsible for paying for this big move are the most wealthy, the wealthy elite. I feel like that perhaps is the most fair. We have the resources to do it. I myself am a member of the landed gentry, and I would like to give back to my community. Does that answer your question?
I think.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. City members who came up, thank you again for coming up and asking questions. I very much appreciate the input of the city. Very important for keeping things with the people, I think, as part of the council here representing. Now, does anyone have any further helpful questions before we move on?
Helpful questions.
We could sit here all day with unhelpful questions, but unfortunately, this council is not made to be stagnant for that long. So we're always moving with the water, so I'd like to continue that on.
I do believe helpful was the word.
All right. Are we settled? Okay. Beautiful. All right. There's no disciplinary actions I can take, unfortunately. So let's call for a vote here. So any non-presenting members of the council can vote on this policy, which, can you please provide us a summary again of what you are proposing?
Sure.
Thank you.
I am proposing that the city, in 5 years' time, move to Antarctica, where it will be safer and more healthy for us. We will be able to preserve and make sure that our original home is safe, and our new one will also be safe, and we will live healthier lives. We will not be swallowing these harmful chemicals from the oil spills of the humans.
Thank you for your summary. All right. Everybody in favor of this policy and voting aye, raise your hand now. Everybody opposed? All right, it appears your motion does not pass. Thank you for your policy proposal. I appreciate it. And now, if all of my players will take over and reveal their conditions, please. And one by one, if you will tell me what you were asked to do, starting with, what was your condition for your presentation?
My condition was give your policy speech in rhyme.
So I'm going to say I think you fulfilled that condition unless anybody opposes otherwise. So you can give yourself a point for that one. So good job on that. Thank you. Good job. You struggled a little bit, but
It's all right.
we'll let it slide. All right. What was our next condition we needed to fulfill?
Mine was seamlessly switch topic mid-thought. Bonus if not called out.
What was your topic you switched on? Because I didn't notice it.
I switched between the humans to Antarctica to then the sand. And then while they were talking about the penguins, I switched to seals and saying specifically I didn't like seals.
I don't oppose. I think that one passed. Good job on that. Give yourself a point for that one. What was your condition?
Mine is, I don't know quite how to discuss this. Mine is accuse the presenter of bias against my hidden motive.
So you don't have to reveal your hidden motive. The audience can see your hidden motive. Nobody else can. So audience, do we think that was a fulfilled condition now that you can see? Yeah, I think we're all agreeing. Okay, you fulfilled your condition. Good job. And then I know exactly what yours was. But would you reveal your condition, please?
No, I don't think you could have told. It was pretty seamless.
Yeah.
Bribe another council member.
I think you got that one. Give yourself a point for that. So good job, everybody fulfilling their conditions. Good job on that. So good. I think the 20 was a bit low of a bribe,
Sand
but
dollars
you know
are
what?
worth way more than human dollars.
Okay. Oh, I see. The inflation rate.
Yeah.
Okay. Beautiful. So I'm going to, because I am one-handed, I need somebody to grab the next one. Beautiful. All right. I got it. So this one is you're giving the policy next. So that one's for you. And then I'm going to start on the other side here. And we've got a lot. So some of these are our audience written conditions. Some of these are, would you like to pull one? These are so glowing in the dark. I love it. It's very fun. So some of these, for those of you who may know, we have a community Discord server. And some of these are from members of the Discord server who have given suggestions. So even now when they can't be local, they have contributed to that. So here's that. I'm going to come all the way. I'm going to come right up in your space here. You poke one. Everybody's involved. This is part of the game. Beautiful. Okay. I saw what this one was. Okay, beautiful. Now I'm the now I'm the mayor again. So, all right, beautiful. And we're back in the city meeting. All right, thank you, council members. And we shall move on to the next policy proposal. I believe, Dr. Viola, that is you next. So if you would be so kind as to take a minute and look at that information that I gave you. Do you need a minute? No? Okay, so let me know when you're ready and you may begin your speech.
All right. So, after listening to our last council member's information, I think it may be helpful to include this bit of policy. As you know, currently our zoning is very, very strict. Well, not too strict, but stricter than I'd like it to be. Currently, we can only really grow our gardens on residential forested property, whereas I believe that we should get into more community gardening and allow gardening in other different zones as well. Why can't we put our nice little kelp forests right next to the coral that we have? Or why can't we go next to the nice little shoals that we have along the shore and then put up the nice little algae containment? I know that humans seem to be less than inclined when algae is in the area, though sometimes they come around, but most of the time they stay away. And we might want to put the algae a little bit further away. However, I do want to...
That is the end of your time, council member.
Okay.
I appreciate your information on the policy. Now, if the fellow council members may ask their follow-up questions regarding this policy so we can get clarification and continue on from there.
Yeah, I got a question right away. So if I'm getting this correct, as somebody who's extremely invested in the safety of our citizens, your policy involves planting pretty much any type of plant anywhere?
Well, they would be more like the community garden type things. So the stuff that we eat, which is the algae, and then also sometimes the kelp. It would overall help everyone because it would mostly hide them, yes.
Mm-hmm. How about plants from the surface world, humans?
I mean, we don't really involve ourselves with plants of the surface world too much because interfering with those too much and then they come and they pull them out. So I would say we keep more to the underwater because they don't really involve themselves as much.
All right, thanks.
If I may.
Yeah.
I do have a question too, and I feel like it incorporates safety. If kelp is next to our coral, you know, where many of us call home.
Yes.
And especially since your question with the previous policy, you voiced your concern about seals. Seals live in kelp forests, do they not?
They live in kelp forests that are very cold and in Antarctica, which we don't want to go to.
Sure. But nonetheless, even in our tepid and tropical waters, we could see larger predators being drawn in to hunt the other larger predators that would eat us because we're next to the coral. The kelp is there. It just seems very unsafe. And then also, not to mention that you're taking over protected lands as well.
They are currently protected. They are zoned. And it would be more of an opportunity to hide us. Plus, we wouldn't have to go as far away, and we wouldn't have to take as much time in the day to then find the kelp, which brings us out into the open. Instead, it would be right next door, and we could grab it and then go home and spend the rest of our day how we see fit.
And the importance of kelp is for whom? I'm not sure all of us have the same proclivity for kelp.
Well, some of us eat kelp, and then some of us eat these small little things that hide in the kelp, which is us. So we are also one of the predators that you seem to want to avoid, in some cases. Just pointing that out. Not all of us are vegetarians, but it would help everyone because then it's right there next to us.
Point of boredom. This is getting very, very boring, this whole conversation right here. I would like to move that we discuss something a little bit more practical, if we may.
What?
You're talking about zoning,
Yes.
which is a means of putting things in the areas where they belong, so that they do not butt it up against other things. Are you talking about having gardens, say, for example, right next to the Long John Silvers?
I too love Long John Silvers.
I mean, hypothetically, I don't know many Long John Silvers that are under the water, but hypothetically, yes.
If you've looked at their financials, they are all underwater.
Fair point. That being said, technically, yes. If they saw fit to put it on their property, they could have a garden there. No one would force them to, but they could.
I shall have to consider this. You may go ahead.
Right. Yeah. Firstly, a very valid point about Long John Silver's. Secondly, so from what I understand of all this stuff about where you can put your gardens and what are you growing and where and when and all that, it pretty much entirely comes down to growing more food.
Yes.
So it's just you want us to enact a policy to let us have more food.
More food closer to us, yes.
May I interrupt briefly?
That depends.
I will interrupt, and then afterwards you can tell me if it was appropriate.
Yeah, there you go.
I find that having too much access to too much food results in people getting, morbidly obese. And perhaps if we were to treat food more like something that people have to look for, sort of a buried treasure that they need to find access to, rather than just pluck it out of them everywhere they are. Do you see what I'm saying?
I do, but do you realize how much time we are wasting daily just going out and finding the food?
You realize how much time we are wasting in every council meeting that we have?
Well, that's because you're asking these types of questions, truthfully.
Fair point.
All right, I'm going to ask the council to come back from the intention of what the output of the zoning is and focus more on the policy proposal, which is to change the zoning
Yes.
of what it is currently, which is quite split to all access, as far as I understand.
Correct.
Okay. Anybody have any follow-up questions on that?
Could you just explain to me one more time about the algae? I in particular wasn't quite understanding that.
So, I mean, it would be the same concept as the kelp gardens. We would have algae gardens for the individuals who either eat or hunt in the algae.
With all of that algae, do we not have to worry about like red tide and harmful algal blooms?
That's why we farm it. Then if we take care of it and we farm it like in a garden, then we don't have to worry about that and send people to clean it up.
How can we ensure that people are staying on top of their gardens and harvesting the algae in a timely manner?
I mean, that would come in the same situation of how do we control people who are doing it on their own residential properties?
Wait, did we switch to talking about marijuana now?
We are talking once again about the output when we need to go back to the source, which is zoning, changing the zoning. But before we move forward anymore, does any member of the city have anything they'd like to ask the council regarding? You want to come up and ask? We might need to move the microphone for you, my dear.
It's important to get started in politics young.
Yes. This is very important. You want to hold this? All right. What question do you have for the council, please?
So, if gardens just start growing out of everywhere, how will we have electricity? Because I curl my hair very often and I need electricity a lot.
It's a valid point.
That's a very good question. Thank you so much for participating in local politics. Can everyone give a round of applause for our youngest member of the city? Thank you. Very good question. As the mayor, I approve of that question.
I mean, I will definitely say that it will be up to the individuals. So if they decide that they want to grow the gardens on the plots, we're just making it easier for them instead of telling them, no, you can't grow it. They can, they don't have to.
All right, excellent. All right, do we have any more questions for Dr. Viola before we move on? Okay. All right, so we are going to have a vote here. So before we have a vote, can you please summarize in very simple terms of what you're proposing for this policy so that everybody on the council understands what they may or may not be voting for?
We allow for the ability to grow the gardens no matter the zone. The zone will not prevent them from growing their gardens if they so choose.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Jack Hopkins, I have no idea what we're voting on.
I think that happens a lot, though.
All right. I wonder how often you know what you're voting on, but...
Very infrequently.
Of course. Understood. Okay, so everybody voting in favor of this policy, please raise your hand.
Yeah.
All right, your policy passes. Congratulations on passing your policy. All right, beautiful. So give yourself a point for that one. There we go. Now, I would like everybody to, I'm going to just go reveal down the line here. So what was your condition, and did you accomplish it?
Randomly speak in person, bonus if not called out.
Did
A couple times.
Yeah. Give yourself a point. Give yourself a point for that one. All right. What was your presenter condition?
Contradict yourself at least once.
I'm gonna say I think you fulfilled that, considering how confused the entire council was.
Yeah,
Congratulations. Give yourself a point for that one. Good job. All right. What was your condition?
I was supposed to reference Treasure Island 3 times. Bonus if not called out.
I don't think anybody noticed. Did you do it 3 times?
I got the Long John Silvers, I got the Buried Treasure, and Jumpin' Jack Hawkins. I got.
All right. Congratulations. Give yourself a point for that one.
I'm gonna be honest, I didn't do mine.
I don't think you did.
No, I was supposed to get somebody to try to stand up. It's a lot harder to get people to stand up during an infrastructure meeting.
You didn't get them boiled up enough.
Yeah.
Okay. Beautiful. So, good job, everybody, for fulfilling your conditions. Excellent. All right. Somebody over here can pick. This is going to be the next one. Okay, excellent. So, this is for you, and you can blame your wife for that one. I didn't do it. Okay, you want to pick one for me? Just the top one? Beautiful. Okay. I saw this one, so that'll be fun. Good luck on that one. All right. You can look at it. You guys can prep while I'm doing other things. Yeah.
Is that you actually don't know what you're supposed to be doing. You just have to make it up.
Yeah. All right. There's that one. You want to pick one for your partner? Okay. Excellent. Beautiful.
If this one's hard, I blame you.
Yeah. I'm blameless in all of this. I didn't write any of them. That's not true. I wrote most of them. Some of them were audience members and some of them were Discord members, but I think probably 20 of them were me. Okay. All right, we're going to jump back into this council meeting. Thank you, council members, for your votes. I appreciate your time so far. We do have 2 more policy proposals to go. For our next policy proposal, do you need time to look over your information?
Oh, dear God, it's not going to help.
Okay, great. Then you just start your speech and I shall give you 1 minute. Oh.
Hello, how's everybody doing tonight? Glad to see everybody made it out here for the council meeting. That's fantastic. Good to see everybody here. My name, as you all know, is Pat Crabinet. I am a hermit crab. You may have noticed in the thing here there was a picture of a horseshoe crab. That's an old picture before I went off the grid. Yeah. So, anyways, it's tough being a hermit crab because you go to all the bother of building a reclusive shack out in the woods, then you got to carry it around on your back all the time. Anyway, so what I want to say here is, oh boy, what do you do with a drunken sailor? It's tough to tell you. The other day, a guy walks into my office.
Councilmember, you have 15 seconds to complete your policy proposal.
My God, we're talking about infrastructure over here. I want to build new infrastructure. A guy walks into my thing. He says, hey, I need a new, I got a pothole in front of my house. I said, a pothole? It could be worse. It could be a pot. See, because he's a crab, see? Crabs don't like pots. That's what I'm talking about there. Way, hey, and up she rises.
That's...
Way, hey, and up she rises. Thank you. Vote for my thing.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilmember, for your incredibly helpful policy proposal. I am going to allow for quite some time for the rest of the council members to ask follow-up questions on what the hell that was. So I don't even think you need to raise your hand, council member. You might as well just ask your question.
Right. You may have been speaking something that hermit crabs understood, but as a fiddler crab, you're going to have to translate exactly what you were actually talking about because I don't know what policies you are trying to enact.
Oh, okay. Well, let me translate it into fiddler crab for you. A lot of men left at a do-si-do. We want some infrastructure. Yo-ho-ho! We want infrastructure. The roads are falling apart. There are giant holes in front of everything. The whole place is a shit pile. We might as well move to Antarctica.
Antarctica.
Right.
All right, council members, we We need one person talk at one time. We cannot have this overlapping chatter. Okay. I need a question from the council, please.
Question.
Right, I would like to finish my question because infrastructure is rather broad. It seems like you're fiddling about here a little bit too much, and I'm sick.
Oh,
I'm
that was a
tired.
big one.
Hey.
Fiddling about. Let me write that down.
I just would like to point out here that if the infrastructure is so bad, don't we need to focus on perhaps one part of the infrastructure instead of the whole infrastructure? Because that could mean anything from buildings to the roads. You said the roads, but there are other things as well going on, like the pipes that get air to some of our individuals. What exactly are you talking about infrastructure-wise? Or are you just saying all of our infrastructure is horrid and we need to leave?
So,
To Antarctica, perhaps.
Not to Antarctica.
I am glad that you asked that question, my good fiddling friend. So you see, we have roads, we have bridges that go over roads, we have roads that go over bridges, we have pipes, as you say, we have buildings, as you say, and they are all falling down. So what do we do? We're going to have to spend money to fix all of these things.
How much money?
As much as it takes. As much money as it takes.
Just any amount, like no proposed number or anything along those lines?
1 million.
1 million what? Sand dollars?
Sure, why not?
Sand dollars have a crazy exchange rate.
Yeah, well,
You know, those are worth a lot.
Okay, I do have another question, actually. As a fiddler crab, and I'm pretty sure a few other crab species, we do live on the shore between the water and the land. So I have not seen any of the infrastructure issues you are talking about. What infrastructure issues are you referring to exactly? Because I feel like the water moving back and forth would, degrade everything there much faster.
yes, which is why we need to replace all of the infrastructure. Am I talking to myself out here? Is this thing on? Hello? What?
All right.
Can I interject? I do think that this is a very valid point. I think there are things that can be revisited and
Thank you, so I have your vote.
funds
Fantastic.
allocated for this. Please do not interrupt me. This is supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, this behavior. We know you're a fiddler crab. This is not stand-up. Does this council mean nothing? You do have merit. Why don't you propose actual funds as our surfer proposed? Give us an actual number, and I feel like we could move forward with this.
2 million.
And how will these funds be used? Be specific.
On roads.
Oh,
And bridges. Roads and bridges.
Right,
We will
right.
fix the potholes.
Right, what you've mansplained to us. Yes, absolutely. Okay.
It's crab explain.
Correct, crab's plain. Are you kidding me? The irony of that statement.
I feel like our issue is we need a number. We're just asking for a number. All of us have asked for a number at this point.
3 million.
All right. That's a lot of money. And I'm totally fine with allotting that amount of money. I guess I kind of want to know, are we only talking within our cities, or are we talking about paving our way out of the cities as well? We need to talk about highways, back up to the surface, that kind of thing. Is that what we're talking about, or just within?
That is a very excellent question. I'm not sure. I think that perhaps we should form a subcommittee to discuss that.
All right, well, before we do, let me ask you a question.
Yes.
2 questions, actually. 1, how much did you have to drink before coming here?
4 million.
Oh, okay.
Explains a lot, really.
You understood the question.
Anyways, second question, though.
Yes.
So, you ever had you ever gone up to one of those piers? You ever had some of the cheap whiskeys and vodkas and stuff they got on those things?
What?
No. It's relevant question.
I do need to ask the relevance of this question, council member.
Yeah, it is extremely relevant. It's extremely relevant. We're talking about infrastructure. We're talking about roads. We're talking about interconnection between crab cities and human cities. Listen, they don't know we're around here yet, okay? Once we start those connections, though, we start trade routes. If this is where you're going with this, I'm going to be on board.
Well, I would say, allow me to reiterate, as I said during my speech, that there are certain things that when you're up on the pier with the cheap whiskey and the cheap vodka that you might see the occasional drunken sailor. And you wonder to yourself, what do we do with that particular sailor who happens to be drunk?
I have two wondered the same thing.
Until perhaps he sobers up a bit? Or do we put him in the bilge until he's sober? Do we put him to bed with the captain's daughter? I don't know what the correct answer to that question is. But I do know this. We need infrastructure!
Councilmember, I appreciate your passion. I believe that there is a lot of reactionary things across the board. So we're going to take it back to your policy proposal. You are proposing a new policy that creates infrastructure. Fixes infrastructure. New funding.
For repairing our damaged infrastructure.
Okay, excellent. So I'm going to allow for one member of the city who has any follow-up questions for Mr. Crabinet,
Someone who really loves infrastructure, please.
who has some really strong opinions. Okay. What question do you have for the council?
I have one for Mr. Kirby, very glad we're talking about infrastructure, talking about fixing it. Can we fix the buses too? It's really hard to get around.
Oh, public transit. Public transit.
Yeah, that's public transportation. That's not really covered under infrastructure.
But they are connected nonetheless, yeah?
See, we fix the roads so that people can drive their own vehicles on it. Public transportation, who needs that when we have infrastructure? Am I right?
You keep using that.
Oh, okay.
No, thank you, my good citizen. Vote for me.
It's a valid question.
Thank you to our city member for participating in this meeting. I'm gonna skip the summary because I think we keep talking in circles. So you all understand.
Circles, like traffic circles.
We can. That's part of the subcommittee situation. We'll go to the subcommittee if the motion passes. I think everybody needs to take a moment and consider if they would like to pass this policy or not. So everybody in favor of this?
Yeah.
I voted for your thing.
You can't vote. You can't vote for yourself.
For the crabs.
Okay.
Crab!
Next year,
Come on!
you actually have any sort of concept of what you were talking about. Yeah.
5 million! 5 million! Come vote!
Okay.
More roads, more gardens,
All
man.
right. I'm going to count this as one vote to yes. You can't vote for your own policy, and that's been a rule on the council for who knows how long. All right. Everybody opposed? Okay.
Lame.
All right, we're
Super
opposed.
lame.
Unfortunately, your policy does not pass in this council meeting.
When you fall into a pothole, you know who to blame.
You can bring up another proposal next meeting. Ugh. Okay, beautiful. Thank you for that very lively round. If everybody could reveal their conditions, please. We'll start here on this end.
Use the largest you know.
Use the largest word you know.
That does explain how you got that one in there.
That one, you just snuck that one right in. Seamlessly. I will give you the point for it, though. Beautiful. What was your condition?
Say my species name at least 3 times. There is a bonus if not called out, but I was called out.
You were, you were called out for it. I will give you the one point for that. Let me guess what your condition might have been there, Mr. Presenter, sir.
Yeah.
I was to use a sea shanty in my speech, a sea shanty in my speech. I was to use a sea shanty in my speech.
Get yourself a point for that one.
I think you did.
All right, what was your condition?
I was supposed to attempt to start a successful chant of crab. The issue is people weren't listening.
They weren't listening. No. And unfortunately, that was John's suggestion.
Yeah.
So we didn't quite get that one. But I'm going to give the last condition here. There's that one there. All right. Who wants to pull the last one? No one's okay. Pull one for me, please, and you can pull from. All right. Yeah, there's a couple of them in there. Okay. Oh, beautiful. Okay, I'm gonna make. I saw that one, so I'm making a decision. I don't know. Does anyone over here wanna? Okay, beautiful. Okay, excellent. I don't want to see them. I really do want to be unbiased, but I knew that one, and that one was suggested that I give to you, so I think we're gonna do that. All right, who wants to pull the last one? All right, pull from anywhere. I feel like I'm trying to do a magic trick, but it's not working. The only magic trick I got is crab. Okay, so everybody's got a condition here. We good? Good? Okay, beautiful. So we're gonna jump back into it. All right, thank you, members of the council. So far, last policy, do you need a moment to prepare your speech there?
No, I think I pretty much got it.
Okay, you may begin when ready.
Yeah, okay, so here's the deal. You know what's been making waves with all of the kitty crabs these days? Technology. That's the biggest thing. That's the newest, hottest thing on the scene. And we got to make sure that when it comes to our cities, that we got the newest, hottest technology. All right? As we all know, humans are way, way advanced these days. Not more advanced than we are. I mean, come on, let's be real. We pull out the strings. We know how this works. But if there's one thing that we could really, really use for this city, it's finding a way to make sure the whole thing is revolutionized. The whole thing is roboticized. The whole city becomes one gigantic moving mechanical crab. That's my proposal. You were talking about moving to Antarctica. Yeah? All the whole thing's on the back of one big old ship. One big ship that looks like a gigantic crab. It's got multiple arms going over it. And then as it's moving, we also have some defense systems and, maybe we have some sort of translation devices in case we want to interact with the humans a little bit more.
That's the end of your time. Thank you so much. Oh, that one is actually where that went. Beautiful. Okay,
Timing worked
so
out great.
Your timing worked out very well. So I would like to ask for follow-up questions from the council, please, if you would like, Dr. Viola.
Right. I do want to make sure that, first of all, do we really, really want to be in a giant robotic crab? And do we actually, truly want to do we really want to bring that technology down to we have been working really well before that. We've been thriving. So why would we want to involve ourselves with that human technology in the first place?
Well, first things first, we want to involve ourselves with human technology because they got stuff that we don't have yet. Not saying it's better than the stuff that we have right now. We all know our stuff's better. But look, let's be real. They got a little out of hand, okay? The evolution project with all the humans on the side, they sort of advanced faster than we thought they might. Okay? I want to know where they're at. It's important to keep these lines open.
If I may just say that the humans do in fact have some things that we do not have, like for instance this delicious Cracker Jack. It's the original treat with a product inside. It's coated with the caramel and nuts. A salty, delicious treat.
Right. I do understand that they have some things that we don't have, but do we really want to bring in things that aren't as good, by your own admission, that aren't as good as what we have? Do we really want to go back in time? Do we want to go back in our evolution? We have worked on this for centuries. Are we really going to ruin all of that just because they have some things we don't have?
All right, let me ask you a question in return.
Yes.
How much ocean brine did you get out of your shell this morning?
I fail to see how that is.
You just seem a little crabby to me. That's all I'm going to say. I feel the need
I'm
going to
ask the council to refrain from personal attacks, please,
all right,
and thank
fine,
you.
Fine. Look, you're right, okay. Human technology, it's not as good. But we've also kind of just let them do their own thing for a long time. And as we talked about before, they got their own pollution problems that we have to deal with, okay? We don't want them to keep doing that, and we've had this claws-off policy for such a long time now. But the fact of the matter is this. We get our cities moving. We use the human technology as a sort of, what's the word? They have those things on the surface, olive branch, that kind of deal. And we tell them, hey, listen, we want to open up these chats. We want to talk with the humans. I know we don't want to get involved, but if we do, we can at least tell them to stop dumping trash where we live.
So the point is to get their attention.
Yes.
What happens if they come after us instead? And now that we have these giant crabs that are getting their attention.
Well, I'm glad you asked. So here's the deal. If we make sure that these mechanized crabs are fully kitted out with our full defense mechanisms, as we all know, crab laser technology has never been any better. It would be a very, very, very easy fix where they think, well, we got to get rid of these sentient crabs. We blow them up. Missile launchers, man. Lasers.
Can I stop you there before it gets a little unruly? I was with you for a very
Yeah, I know. I sort of got out of hand there for a little bit.
Yes, I do love some crab puns. I am always game for that. Also, I do see some merit in. I think it's very good safety feature that
Yes.
we would make a giant, one of us, a giant one of us, and go and bridge the gap.
It's exciting, right?
An olive branch, if you would. I know that there is probably a Long John Silver's up there, and right. I've always been, anyway, interested. And, okay, so my question is, well, it's not really a question, it's an admission that I like this idea of yours. I think it's smart. I think it solves my problem. I think it addresses your questions about gardening. We could be one giant, sustaining
crab. Yeah.
Yeah.
We could try to get the humans to take care of the algae so we wouldn't have to worry about it.
Yeah, once we open those communication lines, I mean, look, whether or not they got the best technology, you open that door, we got trade routes now. Do you know what the kind of freaking food they got up there, man? It's delicious.
Delightful Cracker Jack.
How did we?
The original treat. It's even mentioned in a baseball song, as I understand.
How did we even get these down here?
You seem to really like this Cracker Jack.
It's very good. Speaking of the weapon systems.
Oh yeah.
Are you going to have, for example, this Smith & Wesson 357 that I have here, this delightful piece of hardware that I'm keeping concealed because we're not...
I'm going to ask you to sit down and refrain from this line of inquiry, please. I don't think this is relevant to the question at hand. I also agree that I do think that the conversation of weapons is outside the scope of what this council is capable of providing to the city at large.
Yeah, and also it's not a Smith & Wesson, it's a Fish & Wesson.
All right. So I'm glad that this is where we've headed. I'm gonna say, does any of the council members have any significant or relevant follow-up questions before I turn to the city members?
I'd like to make a clarification. You say your thing first, please.
Well, do you have a person that you know on the land? It seems like you're pushing for this pretty hard, and it's come up before. And I know that.
I'll be honest, some people might call me a bit of a scavenger. It's in the name. I gotta admit, I like the foods, but also the fact of the matter is, I can't keep accessing the random stuff they drop off their boats, okay? Sometimes it falls into our city, sometimes it mixes with the pollution and gross stuff. But how else are we gonna best get it unless we just ask? We are so much better than they are in terms of our technology and what we know. What's wrong with us just being open? Let's just talk to them, man. That's all I want.
All right, I'm going to ask members of the city if they have any questions for Mr. Enger regarding this policy. Oh, you please move the microphone towards you. You're more than welcome to. Excellent.
Hey there.
How are you going to bring bionic crab without making the humans think the crabs are trying to take over the human world?
Right.
Because you want to branch communication, but it sounds like you're going to take over the human world.
No, the taking over the human world is only things get really bad kind of scenario. We're not going to start with that, obviously. I mentioned translation technologies. Humans don't speak crab very well because they have a very hard time foaming at the mouth the same way that we do. So we're working on this, making sure that we can translate their most common language, which, as we all know, is Icelandic. And we got to make sure that it's something they can understand. We go to small communities first, we ask some questions, we talk to them, let them know we mean no harm, that kind of deal. So I assume that once the first few hear the news, things should be all right. Classically, humans believe each other with everything, so.
From what we know of humans. I see we have another question from members of the city. If you'd like to come up and ask your question of the council.
Do it agree on 100% of everything.
Yeah, just like us.
It's true.
So, as we know, a lot of human technology is not conducive for water. How are we going to make this something that we can use in our daily life?
Right. Actually, that's a very valid question. So humans have been working a little bit more on these waterproof technologies. Just the other day, I happened to see somebody drop off one of their rectangle devices into our ocean, and the thing lasted for, I think a good 5 minutes before it burnt out. So they're getting better at it. Not saying they're great. But the fact of the matter is we also have a lot of technologies up here. Drying technologies. We have our air bubble technologies, which classically have been extremely useless to us because we need to breathe water. But now that we have technology, honestly, I think the sky's the limit there. All right.
Thank you so much. Thank you to the city members for asking questions of their council. It is much appreciated to get input from the city as we are representations of those city members. Okay, anyone have any additional clarifying questions that they want to ask of Mr. Enger before we call for a vote?
Yeah.
I do have a question. Would we be considering possibly working with them to see what we could do and then the things they could do for us as well, like kind of trade of services as well?
Yeah, one of the reasons, as I just mentioned about opening up those communications is we got to worry about pollution, man. It's just kind of the big thing. We're talking about it. We don't want it to get dumped on us anymore. We tell them, hey, listen, we can help you guys. We can advance you guys a little bit, maybe make you a little more like us, And in exchange, maybe they stop dumping trash in the ocean. Seems like a pretty good exchange.
Really something that I just like to see working that way.
Yeah, if there's one thing we can learn from these council meetings, it's working together is kind of important.
True, and I appreciate that. But I do want to ask you the same questions that many of us have already been asked. The time frame, and also how much is this going to be?
6 million. 6 million. Do we have 6 million? No. I'm genuinely asking. That's just the number that was thrown out. That's
This is not a budget meeting, so we unfortunately don't have the numbers in front of us.
You mentioned 5 years, and that is the plan of moving everybody a long distance. This is going to be a long-term goal, I'm going to be honest. If we're going to make sure that the entire place is all dug up, it's probably going to take at least 10, making sure that we actually have the right technologies, the protection. We need to make sure that we have the aquadome that's going to cover the entire top of it. I don't know, aquadome alone is going to take like 2 years. So,
Point of repetition, still only live 3 years, we're all going to be dead.
Until we start rapidly advancing our science for the sake of this city, robotic technology is going to allow our lives to extend vastly beyond our standard lifespan. One of our biggest issues is when we have to molt, and it's very, very difficult the older you get to get that shell off. Well, not with you.
Right out of it and find a new shell and you go right into it.
Yeah, it doesn't really work like that for me, man.
I think you might be a little bit unique in that respect.
It's pretty cool, but yeah, we can't really.
Don't do that.
No.
Oh, wow. You know what you're missing.
Anyways, cybernetic technology allows us to live way longer. And the humans would probably think that cybernetic crabs are super awesome, so I think that's also a plus. It helps in every field, really. So 5-10 years, a couple years for the aquadome, and we'll figure out the budget when we get there.
Okay, so let's have you come to the table here with a summary of your policy proposal in simple terms, so then we can vote on it as a council.
Yeah, of course. So everybody who wasn't paying attention, I understand. I don't used to come to these meetings anyways. To recap real quick. Crab City on a big old mecha crab. Talk to some humans, open some trade routes.
Got it. Okay, thank you for that summary. If I could have the council vote, anybody in favor of this policy and voting to move it forward, vote aye, raise your hand. All right, it looks like your motion does pass. So,
Thank you.
congratulations on passing your motion here. All right, and I have seen this council in action, and this is not the first time, nor does it seem to be the last, where each one of you has decided that you are more important than representing the city members at large. You have argued with each other, you have talked over each other, you have decided to talk in circles about any policy that you can think of, not listening to each other, providing personal attacks, and I believe that this council is no longer relevant because all we do is fight amongst ourselves and not providing any forward motion. Therefore, I am moving to abolish this council. Everybody who wants to vote in favor of abolishing the cabinet, please vote with me. The city agrees with me! Crap! Okay, I believe we are abolishing the council, but before we do that, I would like to have everybody, we are going to guess everybody's hidden agendas here. So players at the table, you can pick another player and guess their hidden agenda. So, who would like to go first? Okay, who are you guessing? Okay.
I believe that Ian wants to go to war with the humans.
I'm gonna say that's not correct.
Not
no,
correct.
that's not correct. I thought that was a good guess, though.
I mean, a mecha crab would be a hell of a thing to take to war with the humans.
Okay. So.
These things.
Oh, yes. Yeah, you know what? You're absolutely right. I did skip over that. Let's go over our conditions for this final round before we jump back to the hidden agenda. So, what was your condition for this round?
Don't say any words starting with the letter C.
Oh.
I heard a couple, like, in between. I could tell when you were...
You're just thinking of a question.
No, I heard could.
Didn't you say you love crab puns?
Go ahead, get it. Okay, what was your condition?
So mine was respond with really at least 5 times, notice if not called out. I did respond 5 times, and I also stuck in 3 others.
Great, excellent.
Gotta keep saying
Check off that condition. What was your condition for this round?
Mine was quite obviously do a product placement.
Yes, yours was very good. Very good.
Was pretty good.
It was excellent. What was your condition?
Mine was make 2 ocean puns. They ended up being more crab themed.
Yeah, it was great. I heard them. You definitely get a point for that. Okay, so that was the end of the conditions for the round. Now we're going to jump back into hidden motives. You guessed Ian's.
Not going to war with the humans.
Not going to war with the humans. The only point you get is if nobody guesses your hidden motive. So however we want to do this. So, who wants to go next? Who wants to pick a player to guess?
I might as well.
Okay.
You tried to guess mine. I'm just going to go in a long shot, Rob. I think that you wanted to enact capitalism.
That's a really broad scope. So the audience here can see everybody's hidden motive, which I think is very fun. I don't think that that's going to be the guess for it. No.
I would pretend thing what I wanted.
That's why
we don't want that. We don't want that. Okay. Who would like to guess somebody else's hidden motive?
I guess that Rob's crab wanted to be a stand-up comic.
Yeah. Good job. Good job. Excellent.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
Well, that's just you.
Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. I'll let it go until everybody's had a chance. So yours is guess. So nobody can guess any more of Rob's hidden motive. So Liz, who would you like to guess? And we're gonna guess multiple. So you can still guess Ian's, or you can guess Hannah's. And then I'll let you guys go again as well.
I got no idea.
I'm going to guess you wanted to establish trade routes with the humans.
I'd say that counts.
Yeah, I'd say that counts. So Mr. Scavenger's hidden motive wants to be where the people are. So we've got 2 more here. If either of you would like to guess,
Oh man.
Or you can just like give it. Hannah, do you want to guess Liz's? I don't know if you kind of put yours into play. A little bit. Yeah.
It's okay. It's a long-term goal. It's
Yeah.
not like the council just got shut down. Or
This is just about to work.
no, then the council ends.
Something about translating works or something. I don't know. Nope.
Okay. Does anybody want to guess Hannah's? No?
There's so much there.
There's a lot of there. Okay, so you two can both. What?
Oh, there was only one thing that stuck out to me that we didn't circle back to it, and I never really kind of heard it mentioned again, and it didn't make a lot of sense to me at the time, so I'm thinking it might have been. You mentioned something about art when you were talking about Antarctica. I didn't know if it had something to do with being a patron of the arts or something.
I like it. It's not your hidden motive, but it's very good. That's very good. Okay.
It was a red herring.
It's a red herring. Okay, excellent. So you two can both take an extra point because your hidden motive was not guessed. Lady Tara craves seafood. Perhaps is a bit of a cannibal. Oh. And then Dr. Viola wanted a 5-day weekend. Which worked really well. Didn't want to work. Okay, beautiful. Okay, so thank you, members of the council. Thank you, players, for your time. Our meeting is adjourned. We're going to add up our points. So, add up all of your fulfilled conditions, all of your bonuses from fulfilled conditions, the 2 hidden motives that didn't get guessed. I want to know what everybody's points are.
And if we got our policy.
And if you got your policy passed. Yep, some passed, some didn't pass. So this is the point where they get to do some math, and I don't have to do anything but stand here and say thank you again for coming to our Crabinet meeting. I'm glad I got my dramatic speech in, because of course that is very important to me. As a person, just in general. I do that every day. In my daily life, I just, go about and, stand. I have a spotlight and, I give a very dramatic speech. Excellent. Okay, where are our points at? 3.
Awesome.
3. Whoa. 8. And what you got? You still adding?
Conditions also give us points.
Yeah, your conditions, if I gave you a point for them, if you did them, they give you a point. And then
some of them had bonus ones.
Some of them had bonus points, yep. If you weren't called on them. That was really okay.
Dang.
Okay, I think we have a winner of our Crabinet meeting, Dr. Crabinet Viola Cravens. Beautiful. Now, as the winner, you may give a speech, but you are also not required to give a speech. If you would like to give a speech, now would be the time to give your winner's speech of the Crabinet meeting.
I would like to say that I'm very happy to know that the initiative to put the zoning through on gardening has passed, and I will be sure to definitely reach out to all of our community garden organizations to get that all organized.
Yay! Crabocracy! Once again, thank you guys all for coming out to our first ever live show of Health Hits Experience. I very much appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. To anybody who is watching the VOD, thank you so much for tuning in and supporting us in whatever way that you can. We hope you enjoy the film version of it. Sorry you couldn't be with us in person, unless you guys are watching again to, watch your little cameos. I think you should. And watch it on repeat. I believe that's the way to go. If you are watching Health Hits Experience, we start live again on Monday, September 16th at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Twitch, and then the VOD goes up on YouTube 3 weeks later, so you can watch anytime. Come support us out. We are playing a new campaign. I'm very excited. Everybody you see here at the table will be involved in that live new campaign. And this is our celebration. We are about to get rocking and rolling again. I appreciate every single one of the people here. I'd like to give a special shout out to Community Access Media for recording, and to our crew, to Molly and Brian and Lindsay, and also thanks to Caden Ramsack for writing this game specifically for us, and thank you for coming. Everybody have an excellent evening, and we will see you all in the next one. Goodbye.